Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video today I just thought I'd have a little chat about my symptoms when I got COVID after having 2 jabs, after being fully vaccinated basically. Yeah, I just thought I'd chat about what symptoms I got and how different they was to everybody else in the house that got COVID as well, that hadn't been vaccinated or that had only had 1 jab. Now I know that the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting COVID, totally get that, but it was still a little bit of a shock when I got it. Bearing in mind my last jab was in April, so it's obviously had plenty of time to kick in. It was a little bit of a shock getting it. I don't know if it was mainly because like I'd been shielding for like near enough a year, maybe a year or so, give or take a little bit. And then just as things start opening up again, like I think the vaccinations, I mean quite rightly, give you that confidence to go out again, blah blah blah. And then as soon as I start going out again, bang, it happens. So yeah, it were a little bit like, oh my god. Basically, to start with, I'll just talk you a little bit through like the timeline, what happened. It was David that first started off with his symptoms, and it was on Tuesday the 1st of June, and he just had a little bit of a cough. Now he put that down to the fact that he'd been to work, and at this particular site they're doing building work, so there were like a lot of dust and stuff, and he said when he went in it was like it had hit him and he was coughing a bit, so he kind of put it down to that. But then the next day he still had a little bit of a cough and he felt not great, so I said, oh, I'll take a test. So I did one of the lateral flow tests and it came back negative. So we were like, oh, it's obviously just a bit of dust on his chest and a bit of a cough or whatever. But then by the Thursday, he was even worse, starting to feel a bit more poorly, just not feeling well in himself. The cough was getting worse. So it got to like the evening time. He had been working at home as well these couple of days. So by the evening time, I was like, take a test again, just take another lateral flow. He took one and it came back with 2 lines, it came back positive. So then Kira took a test, I took a test, and Abby had just gone down to my mum's house about an hour before he'd taken this test that was positive. So like she was down at my mum's house. I took one on the Thursday, it came back negative, and Kira took one and it came back positive. So we're like, oh, great. We kind of made a plan and we decided that Kira were gonna obviously stay in her room for the 10 days, wait it out, I'll bring a food, drink up, blah blah blah. The bathroom's upstairs on the same floor as her, so I'd put anti-bac wipes in the bathroom, blah blah, and you know. And then same with David, he were gonna stay in Corb's bedroom, that were just easier, and like the bathroom's next door, so we were gonna use that. And then me and the small 2 was going to stay downstairs because we have a sofa bed, and then like it's really big, and then the sofa comes down the side, so we all have plenty of room. So us 3 were going to stay downstairs for the 10 days and then just go up to the bathroom. We were going to manage it like that, so we were on like different floors. I booked them in to go and get a proper test. What are they called? PCR, are they? The proper test that you go and get done and then they send it away. I booked in for them to get one on the Friday morning, and then I booked some home kits as well just to come so we could all do like the proper home ones. But on Friday morning I woke up with a sore throat and I'm like, oh no, great. So it were only mild and I didn't have any other symptoms, so I was like, oh, I'll be fine. But anyway, a couple of hours into the day I thought I'm going to take a test, so I took a test and I got 2 lines. It came back positive. All the time while we're doing this, Abby and my mum are both testing like every day down there as well, and they were coming back negative. The Friday morning, Kira and David both went for their actual proper test, and then I, instead of waiting for the home one for me because I'd now got a positive on my lateral flow, I then booked in for a proper test that afternoon. So then David took me for the test in the afternoon, which I vlogged. That was the last day that I vlogged before I had a bit of a break. It was on the Friday. As in that vlog you'll have seen, I didn't feel too bad. We got the bouncy castle out in the back garden, and yeah, I didn't seem too bad. David was starting to get worse by this point. He said he was feeling a bit shivery and not feeling great. He kept just going to bed for an hour and stuff. But obviously because then I'd got a positive, I thought there's no point keeping us all apart, because if I were looking after the kids and I had it, there were no point everybody being just all over the house, so, but anti-bac and things like that, and kind of stay away from the small two as much as we can. But obviously Blake is only one, she needs care all the time. It were a bit more easy with Corbin because he can kind of do more things on his own, he understands a bit more, but obviously Blake, she doesn't understand. Saturday came and Blake got a temperature. She'd gone to sleep as normal and then she woke up at about 8 and she was red hot, really fidgety. Just, you could see in her eyes she weren't feeling very well, and I'm like, great. She were on and off, but she kind of went back to sleep, and she did have a temperature for a couple of days after that. And then Sunday morning, Corbin came down and he wasn't very well. He had a cough and he weren't feeling too great neither, so yeah, basically we all ended up with COVID. On Sunday as well, Abby was still doing like the lateral flow. It was my mum were getting negatives, but by Sunday Abby were getting negatives and positives, so I think she ended up with 2 positive, 2 negative. But the home kit had come, so they ended up doing that, and then they sent that off, and then it ended up where Abby did have COVID as well. So it was just my mum that ended up not getting it. Like Kira and Abby's symptoms, Kira was fine, she had a bit of a sore throat, she's lost a taste and a sense of smell, but that was really towards the end, about day 5 I think it was, that Kira lost her senses. And Abby got a cough and she felt a bit fluey and not very well. She felt a bit more poorly, but overall she was fine. And then on Tuesday, I'd not tested the small 2. I thought it's obvious that they've got it, and I just didn't want to start messing around putting things in the mouth and up the nose and stuff. But I thought I'll test Corbin, so I did Corbin's. It came back positive. I knew it would go into anyway. And then while Blake were asleep, I just put it up her nose a little bit. I didn't put it in her mouth, I just put it up her nose, wheeled it around for a few seconds, and that came back positive. Obviously it came back positive. She had a temperature, she went well, we all had it, same with Cort, like it were obvious that they had it, and that just kind of confirmed that they had it. But I only did lateral flow on them too. I wasn't going to put them through doing another test to come back positive. We knew it were going to. But luckily after a few days, it did knock Corbin actually for a couple of days. It did knock him. He weren't well, he was sick, like physically sick, feeling under the weather, tired, he was sleeping a lot, but he quickly bounced back. Blake had a tiny cough and it was mainly a temperature. Corbin didn't have a temperature, but I was giving him regular paracetamol, so I don't know if that kind of did it. But Blake had a temperature, but she won't take medicine or anything, so that was a nightmare. Yeah, after 2 or 3 days she kind of picked up and she was fine as well. David, he kind of peaked at the day when he weren't very well and he was like feeling all shivery and stuff, and then he kind of gradually got better. Like throughout the week everyone kind of got better. I thought my symptoms was interesting because I'd been double jabbed. Now David had 1 Pfizer jab, he's not had his second one yet, and that's how he went. I had both AstraZenecas. They say 2-3 weeks or so for it to get into your system. I'd had it in April, so it had plenty of time to get in my system. But I started off obviously with the sore throat, and then it progressed pretty quickly the next day to sickness, and I mean really bad sickness. I felt like I had morning sickness. Like when I had it really bad, like HG with Blake, maybe not that bad, I'm exaggerating, it wasn't that bad, but I was being sick, like a lot. I had tummy ache a lot, yeah, and it was more that, which then I couldn't eat, and then I couldn't eat because I felt sick, and I felt sick because I couldn't eat, and then it was then hard to work out whether it was because of COVID or whether it was because I'd just kind of been sick that much and I'd not eaten for that long. Obviously that wasn't helping. I felt really weak. It was awful, absolutely awful. Like just feeling dizzy, like not being able to concentrate on anything as well. It was really weird. Like my head, I just couldn't concentrate. It was strange. I can't describe how, like brain fog almost. Like my head just felt not there. It were really weird, like my head. And again, like same with Kira, it were about on day 5. I think Kira's might have been day 6 or even 7, but on day 5 I lost my sense of smell and then my taste went, which I thought I'd kind of got away with because they say that that's one of the first things to notice, but with mine it definitely wasn't. But yeah, day 5 and 6 that went. I got the slightest little cough, I'd say on day 4 or 5, and I don't know whether that was actually in my head rather than actually having a cough, because I'd convinced myself that it's gonna go to my chest. Now, I suffer with health anxiety quite bad, and a lot of the battle of this, I think it was with my own mind as well, because I'd read online somewhere that if you get like the sickness and the stomach pain first, then you've got a higher chance of then getting breathing problems later on. Like, there's been studies, and people that have had the sickness have had that before then the temperature. I never got a temperature neither, but I was taking regular paracetamol anyway, so I had that in my head. And then also I had in my head that, well, it's common knowledge, isn't it, like you get you get poorly and then you get worse, or you'll get better, and it's like between day 5, 7, 10, like between 5 and 7 they say is the peak, where if you're gonna take a turn for the worst, it's probably gonna be then. That's when like you could go either way, and obviously that was in my mind all the time. So I don't know whether by the time day 4 or 5 would come, I was thinking I was getting a cough, but it was literally nothing. Even if it was part of COVID, I hardly had anything, and at not one point did it go to my chest at all, which I do think that that is the vaccine that's done that. I mean, I'll never obviously be able to prove it. That might have just been how I had COVID. That's how some people do have the symptoms and how they do get it, and they don't get like a bad chest and stuff. But because I've got asthma and I was on the shielding list as well, I'm convinced that if I hadn't have had the vaccine, it would have gone to my chest at some point. Oh, and another symptom that me and David had, whenever you get up to try and do something, you can feel fine sat down, you don't feel too bad. As soon as you get up to do something, it feels like you've run a marathon. And to be honest, I'm still not 100% now. We're now on like the 16th of June, so I'm on about day 12 now, and I still feel out of breath sometimes when I'm like getting up and doing bits and bobs. My appetite and the sickness are still not gone. I still can't, everything tastes funny still. You know, like earlier on I said that it felt like when you had morning sickness, I've just got that feeling left. Like anyone will know that's had a kid, like your smell and your taste changes. It still feels like that. Nothing quite tastes the same. And like coffee, I love coffee, but that's the first thing I went off when I was pregnant. It doesn't taste right, it doesn't taste the same now, and I really hope that comes back, because oh, I don't know what I'll do. But yeah, I've had like 2 coffees in nearly 2 weeks, but I'm gonna keep persevering with that. Yeah, I think my smell's back. Certain things, like Blake will do a pooey nappy and I'll not necessarily be able to smell it properly, but then I can smell like the perfume. I don't know, it's weird, but I'm just really grateful that it didn't go to my chest, because yeah, that were just my nightmare. That were just all I was thinking of, please don't go to my chest. And I mean, I wish there were a way to know as well what variant you had. And all through all of this, my mum never got it. Everyone's out of isolation now, everybody's done the 10 days over, and like Kira's gone back to college, David's gone back to work. I haven't actually been anywhere, but for a couple of days now I've been able to. We're all testing negative on the lateral flows now, so yeah, it's just certain things. I think it'll take a while to come back. Kira still can't smell, but yeah, apart from that, we're all doing good. But I just thought it was quite interesting that it didn't go to my chest, because although it didn't go to David's chest, and he didn't get like a chest infection type thing, he was coughing. Yeah, like not even a cough, which, I mean, take from that as you will, like whether it's the vaccine or not. Yeah, that is it. Oh, and also I totally missed out Abby, because obviously Abby had to isolate down there. We were up here. It was Abby's 16th birthday. Yeah, she didn't get her presents till late, until like one of us that were out, that could be out of isolation, went and dropped them off. I'd got some cards delivered down to my mum's house, but yeah, we missed her 16th. Yeah, she missed the leavers, the last day of school. She missed a party. She was camping out with her friends, and yeah, so it couldn't have come at a worse time, to be fair, for her, bless her. Anyway, I'm going to go because I have rambled on. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. I have vlogged today, so the vlog, like that vlog will come out after this vlog, so it'll be like 2 days behind. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stop rambling, and I'll see you all in the next video.